Well, when it comes to adoption in the UK, African and African Caribbean children seem to be among the most neglected candidates for finding a new home. That's according to an organisation called African Family Works, which is campaigning for better treatment for youngsters coming from those backgrounds. With me from the group is Sundjata Keita from Africa Family Works. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, explain to me exactly why and how has this situation occurred? Is it that there are so many African children who need homes, or is it that there are not enough families willing to take them on?
Well, basically there is a lot of what we might call social decay in our communities, which is quite hidden, and the children come to the attention of the social services, and the social services take them into care for neglect, for abuse, for some people might be on substances like drugs, alcohol, so the children are taken into the system.
Yeah.
And then some of them are put up for adoption. That's the last option, is to put them up for adoption, and then suddenly the children find themselves in a situation that there's not enough people prepared to come forward to adopt them.
So it's a kind of perfect storm. You've got too many children and too few families waiting to take them on.
Yes.
You were saying that amongst the highest proportion from the African continent, Nigerians are amongst the highest, and that those children are more likely to be abandoned by their parents.
Well, it's really down to economic factors. Living in the UK is very high pressured. You need a lot of income. You need two incomes to bring these children up, and often the children then end up in care. We have a lot of people who have been Nigerian who have been in care, and they will tell of their stories that their parents just couldn't cope, and the social services take them, and then they end up in the system, and then nobody else then is coming forward to adopt them.
Why is it that there's a low proportion of African or African Caribbean families wanting to adopt these children?
Again, they are worried about state intrusion into their lives, because when you adopt a child, the state wants to know everything about you, your parenting practices, how you're going to raise the child, because if the child's come from a very bad situation, they don't want them to put them into another bad situation. They want to try and find the best solution for the child. So they need parents who are going to raise them in a way that's going to be a benefit to the child.
Is part of this that you're actually saying that parents or families, African Caribbean families, are more inclined to punish their children with maybe minor violence, but it's still corporal punishment all the same? Yes,
well, that is an issue around discipline. Those old-fashioned views around hitting your child, that's not tolerated in the UK. So that can be some of the issues. But it's really down to economics, because if you're a single person and you're living in London, for example, and you want to adopt, well, you've got to have a spare room.
Yeah.
They can't be living on the couch.
No.
So that already restricts some people.
And actually, it's quite hard for a single parent of any race to adopt a child.
It's very hard. So we are looking for more couples, because it is a difficult thing to do. And within our community, particularly African Caribbean communities, there's a lot of single parents and also single people, singletons living on their own, and they're thinking that they want to adopt. So that's the issue that we're trying to get around.
So presumably you need to raise funds somehow to support a project in order to alleviate the situation.
Well, that's why we're asking the government to step in. The government has stepped in ways of trying to change the system. For example, it's no longer a requirement for a child to be matched with the same ethnicity or the same religious group.
Because there was a huge amount of controversy surrounding that issue a few years ago, wasn't there?
Yes, but if you look at the data's come out now, so we have the data, and it's not about political correctness that's stopping children from being adopted, because for biracial or mixed-race children, the number of children that have been adopted last year went up by 30%.
Yeah.
The number of children that have been adopted from an African Caribbean background is exactly zero. There's been no change.
Oh, really?
And there was only 100 adopted last year out of the thousands that are waiting. So this is a critical situation. Now, the government because it has its own political agenda, is not prepared to see these children as a special group, what we call hard-to-place children. But these children are hard to place, so they need more support.
Do you want them seen as a special group?
Well, they're hard to place.
Yeah.
Now, when you adopt, it's absolutely voluntary. So the state can't force you to adopt a particular child. So if you come forward and you're maybe a white English couple, you would like a child to match your family unit.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily going to adopt a black child.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a mixed race couple, you might want to have a child that is mixed race, which matches the parents. So that's why the number of mixed race couples has pushed up the number of mixed race children being adopted.
So really, you've kind of got two aims here. We've got to be brief. It's sad because I'd like more time to talk to you, but you've got to change people's. You've got to raise money. You've got to get government grants, but also you've got to change people's mindsets as well to try and alleviate the situation, haven't you? Well,
really, the ideal solution for the children is for more African and African Caribbean parents to come forward to adopt these children, and that's why we've got these seminars happening in April.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good. We'll certainly try and publicise those any way we can, but we have to stop the interview right now. But thank you so much for coming in to talk about this.